Okay, I'll start then. Looks like it started streaming. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, welcome to another session of Bhagavad Charcha. So, we are on today on verses third canto, 25th chapter, verse 5, 6, and 7. So, we'll start with the prayers and then we'll see what we understand from this. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टां स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपकमलं श्रीवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपा साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्नति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna everyone. I'll share my screen and then we'll read through the verses. Before the verses, I'll request your uh, kindness. If there is anything which comes out of this session, it belongs to my Guru Janas, and we'll talk about the definition of Guru Janas in this talk probably. And anything wrong, if I misspeak something, uh, please forgive me, and because you all are learned, please correct. With this, I'll share my screen and then we'll read through the verses. I think you should be able to see my screen now. So, like I was saying earlier, the verses today are third canto, 25th chapter, verse 5, 6, and 7. So we'll read verse 5. Maitreya Uvacha Pitari Prasthite Aranyam Matuh Priya Chikirshaya Tasmin Bindu Sare Avatsed Bhagavan Kapila Ila Maitreya Uvacha Pitari Prasthite Aranyam Matuh Priya Chikirshaya Tasmin Bindu Sare Avatsed Bhagavan Kapila Kila. Synonyms and translation and purport all by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, Pitari, when the father, Prasthite, left Aranyam for the forest, Matu, his mother, Priya Chikirshaya, with a desire to please, Tasmin, on that, Bindu Sare, Lake Bindu Sarovar, Avatsit, he stayed, Bhagavan, the Lord, Kapila, Kila, indeed. Translation. Maitreya said, when Kardam left for the forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the strand of the Bindu Sarovar to please his mother Devavati. Purport. In the absence of the father, it is the duty of the grown son to take charge of his mother and serve her to the best of his ability so that she will not feel separation from her husband. And it is the duty of the husband to leave home as soon as there is a grown son to take charge of his wife and family affairs. That is the Vedic system of household life. One should not remain continually implicated in household affairs up to the time of death. He must leave. Family affairs and the wife may be taken charge by a grown son. Let's go to the next verse. Let's read through all the verses and then we'll discuss. Verse 6, 325, verse 6. Tam asinam akarmanam tatva margagra darshanam swasutam devahutiyah Dhatu smrti vachah tam asinam akarmanam tattvamargagra darshanam swasutam devahutyah dhatu sansmrti vachah. Synonyms. Tam, to him. Him here is Lord Kapila. Asinam, seated. Asinam, asan, related to asan. Asinam, seated. Akarmanam, at leisure. Tattva, of the absolute truth. Marga, gra, the ultimate goal. Darshanam, who could show. Swasutam, her son. Devahuti, Devahuti. Aha, said. Dhatuh, of Brahma. Samsmarti, Samsmariti, remembering. Vacha, Vacha, the words. Translation. When Kapila, who could show her the ultimate goal of the absolute truth, was sitting leisurely before her, Devahuti remembered the words Brahma spoke to her, and she therefore began to question Kapila as follows. Let's go to the next verse too. So this verse is 3rd Canto, 25th chapter, verse 7. Devahutiruvacha nirvinna nitaram bhuman asad indriya tarshanad yenas sambhavya manena prapannadham tamah prabho. Devahutiruvacha nirvinna nitaram bhuman asad indriya tarshanat yena sambhavyamaneena prapannadham tamah prabho. Synonyms. Devahuti uvacha. Devahuti said, Nirvinna, disgusted. Nitam, very. Bhuman, O my lord. Asat, impermanent. Indriya, of the senses. Darshanat, from agitation. Yena, by which. Sambhavyamanena, being prevalent. Prapanna, I have fallen. Andham tamah, into the abyss of ignorance. Prabhu, O my lord. Translation. Devahuti said, I am very sick of the disturbance caused by my material senses. For because of this sense disturbance, my lord, I have my lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. Purport. Here the word Asad Indriya Tarshanad is significant. Asat means impermanent, temporary, and Indriya means senses. Thus, Asat Indriya Tarshanad means from being agitated by the temporary manifest senses of the material body. We are evolving through different statuses of material body existence, sometimes in a human body, sometimes in an animal body. And therefore, the engagements of our material senses are also changing. Anything which changes is called temporary or asat. We should know that beyond these temporary senses are our permanent senses, which are now covered by the material body. The permanent senses, being contaminated by matter, are not acting properly. Devotional service therefore involves freeing the senses from this contamination. When the contamination is completely removed and the senses act in the purity of unalloyed Krishna consciousness, we have reached Sat Indriya, or eternal sensory activities. Eternal sensory activities are called devotional service, whereas temporary sensory activities are called sense gratification. Unless one becomes tired of material sense gratification, there is no opportunity to hear transcendental messages from a person like Kapila. Devahuti expressed that she was tired. Now that her husband had left home, she wanted to get relief by hearing the instructions of Lord Kapila. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, this is a very interesting point now in this canto, because Kardam Muni, uh, he has left for the forest, and now Devahuti, she is now asking, because now she remembers that Lord Brahma told her that her son is the incarnation of Lord himself. So now she remembers. So now she starts asking questions. So that is, and so once she asks questions, then the answers start. So that is why this is a very interesting or important part in the canto, the 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 talk from Lord Kapila. So I was what I was hearing and what I've heard is, when Shastra Charcha happens, people should do Shastra Charcha as if we have unlimited time, because that is the only way in which you will go to the depth of matter. Um, so, anyways, we will not go these three verses, while they are small to read. Uh, Srila Prabhupada has spoken. Many other people, they have spoken on these verses, especially verse 7. Some of them have spoken on verse 5. Many of them have combined verse 6 and 7 together. Uh, there are some very prominent themes which come out. So I'll try to share whatever I could understand from these three verses and the themes, and then we'll keep few minutes at the end uh, and try to close by it. So the first theme that comes out is, so I know many of you were um, present on the seminar that we had on the weekend with Nityanand Pran Prabhu and Hemangi Mataji. Uh, One thing which came out right in the beginning, when Nityanand Pran Prabhu was starting to share the intent part, uh, and he's brought about this topic of departing from the material bondage, and how do we direct our attachment. Uh, this theme is also very similar. This is in line with what we say in our Vedic system, that you cannot be agrasta always. You have to move towards vanprastha and eventually sannyas. Uh, that is the recommendation. And they were giving their examples, and they were sharing, how nicely they are trying, and how things, it was a very good and living example to see how these things can be done. Um, I don't want to belabor the same topic again and again. I think many of you heard. If not, uh, look for the recordings. There were 3 sessions, 2 hours each. There is a lot of content there on how to, conduct ourselves when we are in that pure grasta life, and how to, move out from the grasta life without moving out, which means how to go into a vanprasth, or make your primary grasta duties take a little backseat and start focusing on the uh, purpose that we are here. Uh, so this is what essentially this one talks about, that Vedic system, and this is one of the themes that I could pick up, um, that there is a time and place, uh, and time is limited, so we should act accordingly, and let things take their own direction. At the same time, there has to be a concerted effort so that we move our direction, we move our compass, like what Nityanand Prabhu was saying, towards the Lord. So this Vedic system that we have, this is in that direction. It's a step, it's a guidance on how do we move from one direction to another. Uh, so this is one theme which came out. Second theme which comes out for me is when here Mother Devahuti, she is asking, because now she remembers that Lord Brahma told her that the son that you have, he is not the ordinary son, he is the incarnation of the Lord. And she knew that is how um, Lord Kapila's incarnation was planned. So there are a couple of things which come out here as well. For me, the things which come out as is the frustration from material senses that she is experiencing here. She's saying that uh, she's tired. That is the word that Srila Prabhupada uses. And she uses the word, I'm sick of the disturbance caused by the material senses. Um, so so this is another theme which comes out. Um, at some point of time, if we want to actually progress in our bhakti, there has to be a sickness from these material senses. If that does not happen, then we will continue to do what we are doing and we will not progress forward. Um, Here, Prabhupada gives a great example, and he says, right, depending upon the desires that people have, somebody wants to eat, and he gives that kind of example. Somebody wants to eat just garbage, they get a pig's body. So, based on the desires that people have from the material desires, and again from the material senses which are on the body, uh, we get births after births, and different types of births, different types of bodies. Um, so it's very important that uh, there has to be that frustration from these material sense enjoyments. Uh, now, now that so we have heard two three things. One is directly saying no is not that easy. So engaging in the positive is sometimes much easier, because then you forget about the negative. Your focus is on the positive. But then again, because it's temporary and material, right? Any opportunity that these senses get, they tend to run back towards the temporary enjoyment that they see. Um, so that is another one, and so that is why she's asking that unless one gets totally frustrated, one gets tired, uh, that that movement away from the material senses does not happen, and that is when your uh, sat indriyas, or the eternal sensory activities which are there with eternal senses which are there with atma, they don't awaken, because the material senses which are on the body, they always remain active. um, and another theme which actually came out, which actually appealed to me the most, was look at the situation here, right? She is a mother, and she is saying that now she wants to get instructions from her son. Well, she knows that the son is uh, the incarnation of the Lord. But look at us, right, in general, the principle that we have, principle is that we have Siksha Guru and then we have Diksha Gurus, and there are a lot of Diksha Gurus. We can have as many Diksha Gurus as possible, as we actually think we can get. Wherever we are, I mean, even for anyone who is telling anything valuable, right, we can think of them as Diksha Guru. Our Pranali is Diksha Pranali, because all across, if you see right from the beginning, our acharyas, they have taken Diksha and Siksha. Uh, and sometimes Diksha has become much more prevalent and much more important. And the Pranali also talks about those gurus in the disciplic succession. It's not totally just Diksha, it's Siksha. So Siksha can be taken from anyone. Um there was a very good example that Prabhupada was talking about in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. When Lord Chaitanya, when he got into that uh, Shastrarth or Shastra Charcha with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and when he kind of defeated him, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became his disciple. So after that happened, so Lord Chaitanya was going on South India Yatra towards the south of India. He was going. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him that when you are going to the south, um, meet Ramananda Rai. He is a so Ramananda Rai, Prabhupada says, was a logician. He was governor of Madras at that time. So uh, very big role, very big, materially very big role. Uh, But then he was not a Brahmana. So, and Lord Chaitanya was born in a very high Brahmana family. And on top, he was a sannyasi. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya here was telling Lord Chaitanya to have discussion with Ramananda Rai and probably, ask some questions, understand a little more. So when he went and when he met Ramananda Rai was not very comfortable. And why he was not very comfortable? Because Lord Chaitanya was a sannyasi Brahman, so much higher in social status compared to Ramananda Rai, who was actually a Shudra at that time. So he was not feeling comfortable that how can a Shudra go and preach sannyasi Brahman. So he was not saying anything. Then Lord Chaitanya spoke to him about that verse, Kiva Vipra, Kiva Nyai. I mean, I have the verse here if you want to. Kiva Vipra, Kiva Nyasi, Shudra Kene Naya, Ei Krishna Tattva Veta, Sei Guru Haya. So that is how Lord Chaitanya kind of put Ramananda Rai into comfort zone. And then he brought out that principle as well, that as long as you are learning something from someone and it's coming from Shastra based on Shastra Praman, it's perfectly fine. And that is how Raman Rai, uh, started giving instructions and spoke to Lord Chaitanya in detail. So our parampara also says the same thing, right? Uh, Anyone can become Vaishnava if they follow the proper rules and regulations. If they speak, and again, anyone can become a guru, and not necessarily the initiating guru, but someone can guide someone or someone can speak about something if they speak just what Krishna says. Don't mix anything. That is what Prabhupada says. If you don't mix, just repeat what acharyas have said, uh, you can speak. So, so having that mindset of accepting siksha or knowledge from anyone, irrespective of older in age, younger in age, or uh, any standing in the society, as long as it's Shastra Sangat, as long as it follows the Shastra, there has to be that acceptance, uh, that openness, that willingness to learn. That is where lot of knowledge comes through, lot of siksha comes. And that is what our Siksha Pranali also kind of propagates, that not necessarily one can get Siksha only from Diksha Guru, but there are a lot of people who can, guide, or at least, even if somebody adds one point in your life or in my life, that person becomes a Siksha Guru. Now, that is why I was saying in the beginning of the session that you all being here, you all are like my Siksha Gurus. Um, and if I learn anything from you, you are my Siksha Guru. And if you see there is any mistake, you all are learned. Just correct it and forgive me. So looking at the time, we have 3-4 minutes. If someone has any other point to share, please feel free to. We would like to stop at the time that we have, 8 o'clock. So any thoughts, feel free to share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Very nice messages in your class, Prabhuji. Thank you. Like you said, the Shiksha Guru could be anyone who is enlightening you with the message. And I will tell you that today you have been a messenger, and makes me think a lot about. I did not attend the seminar, unfortunately, but the points that you have brought up through this verse, I think, makes us think that yes, the frustration that has to come from the material desires is necessary, and I think that's a barometer too for us to know where we are. So yeah, a lot of work to be done at our end, but I just wanted to thank you. Those were very good messages. You brought out 3 themes and a lot to think about. So thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm just repeating whatever I heard. So yeah, I mean, these are powerful points. I mean, if there was a better speaker, he could speak hours and hours on each of them. If you put someone like Hari Parshad Prabhu or someone like Amrendra Prabhu, they will pick up just one word of that anything, and they can speak for like 2-3 hours easily. So I am anyways nowhere, but thankfully, only good thing I have is when these kind of sessions uh, are allocated, and when I get some opportunity, at least I go and listen to few sessions and think little deeply before I come to these. So it helps me personally in terms of preparation for these. Hare Krishna, Sandhya Mataji, you were saying something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances too.
No pranam, Mataji.
All glories to Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. I second what Kiran Mataji said. We are happy with our Amarendra in you. You are very nice, very thought out class. Thank you, Prabhu. And the point that struck me is, what Srila Prabhupada said. You may come in as a young man or child or as an old man, but then you are all on the path of liberation. So some people, they are sick of this material. They know there is something beyond. So even at that stage, if they get the correct direction, it all matters what direction, who gives the direction. They will be also eligible to receive this the great messages of Bhagavatam, Bhakti Marga. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very profound.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, any other thoughts? I think it's 8:01. Actually, I have a meeting popping up on my other system that I was supposed to join at 8 o'clock. But anyways, any other thoughts we can hear? Otherwise, we'll close the session for tomorrow, today, and we'll again see tomorrow. Okay. So, yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, we'll close one. I have a meeting also.
Okay, Prabhu. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।